home improvement project of the day. Washing vulture poop off my bench. This is karma, 100% karma. As a child, I already knew that I loved birds. From a very, very young age, I loved birds so much birds. And I figured out that if I was patient and quiet, I could sit real still, and I could see some birds up close without binoculars. You know, mostly your songbirds. Could climb trees and sit there, just patience. Taught me a lot of patience and a lot of stillness. But there was somebody I could never see up close, and it bothered me a great deal. And that was vultures. They were always so high up, they were always so far away, had no interest to come and sit beside me in the bushes. I could not see them. Had no idea what they looked like up close. So, because I was a strange child, around 5 or 6, anytime I'd see a vulture fly over, I would quickly lay down in the yard and pretend I was dead, hoping that said vulture would stop and see me. Never worked. So frustrations continued to grow. Then one day in the 1st grade, our teacher had a roundtable discussion. What would you want to be if you could be anything in the world? Anything in the world. And you know, all the other kids, the normal kids, were saying things like, I want to be a fireman. I want to be a doctor. You know, regular stuff. And then it came to me, and when it was my turn to say if I could be anything in the world, what would I be? I said a buzzard. I wanted to be a buzzard. And that's when the other kids started to realize that I was different. But to me, if I could be one, then I could see everybody else up close, and I would get to know them. And then finally, mission accomplished, I would know what they looked like up close. So now, a lot of years later, I'm not going to math that for you. A lot of years later, I am here. I'm scrubbing a park bench I have in my yard so I can repaint it. And I'm having to throw away my cushion because it's been ripped to shreds and pooped on a whole lot, and it smells like a vulture. If you don't know what one smells like what you would think it would smell like, really. And really, this is just everything coming full circle because I have a hardcore fan group of about 6 vultures who come by every single day. They visit the bird bath we have in the yard that's on the ground and big enough for the crows. It's a tight fit for a vulture, but they're kind of like cats. If it fits, it fits. And they come by every day. They drink, they bathe. If the water level is not to their liking, or if it's dirty, which you'd think maybe vultures wouldn't be super picky about that, they are. They will walk up the little driveway and stare at the house, waiting for someone to come there and change the water for them. So, if you're a vulture and you've had a bath, then you have to have somewhere to air dry, right? And guess what works perfectly? Benches! So, some days it's not so bad. I can go out there and I can read in peace and quiet. Some days I have vultures that land on the roof and stare at me, waiting for me to move because I'm obviously in their way. And then other days, when you try to go out there and read, it just honestly smells too much like a vulture to enjoy yourself. So, all of this to say that birds are wonderful, even sometimes when they're weird, and not so wonderful, like when you're scrubbing their poop off a bench. Now that I'm thinking my hands are burning, do you think that maybe their poop is toxic? And, you know, you will eventually get what you want if you hang in there and you're really patient. It took me 40 years of patience to finally see my vultures up close. But now we're real tight. We're a real tight-knit group here. All right, back to scrubbing, and then I'm going to get out some spray paint.